I just want to introduce myself a little bit more. Like she said, I'm from Visalia, California. It is mainly an agricultural area in Central California. Um, and a lot of what's driven me to being in the position of being a self-love coach, obviously there's like, it's a created title. It's what I've decided to really focus on with people, because that was the biggest thing that I realized was lacking in my own life. And I didn't even realize it because I had such a black and white perspective on it of either I am or I'm not. So obviously I must be, because I would never say I'm not. But a lot of that was showing up in my life through, oh, I'm sorry, there might be a little dogs in the background, but they will stop. Showing up through procrastination, showing up through like sabotaging myself with situations, and I didn't know why. I've always been very driven in my career. And I found myself, I was working in San Diego, living in Point Loma, working in Del Mar for a corporate company. And I was drained a lot because I was giving. And there was a part of me that didn't feel like it was enough. And so I wanted to always prove that I was deserving of being there. And I didn't realize this in the moment. It just always was kind of this feeling of like, it's not enough, it's not enough, it's not enough. And there are some things that happen in my life around grief. And that if anyone has lost someone, you know that it instantly makes what is important and what's not in our personal lives. It's like becomes very clear the things that are important to us. And that led me to realizing I didn't want the corporate job. I didn't want the relationship I was in. And I arranged things to leave the country, actually. And I traveled for a long time teaching English and really discovering who I am. And a lot of that led back to a journey of self-love. And so today our conversation is around setting healthy intentions and taking control of your year. And so I was really reflecting on this of like, okay, setting healthy intentions and taking control of our year. So the first thing that I wanted to kind of reflect on is what makes us feel out of control. We all want to have a certain level of control because then we are the ones in charge. So when we have a level of control, we feel powerful, right? But there are certain things that are in our control and certain things that are not, as we all know. And so the things that I was reflecting on of like, what makes us feel out of control? And I was thinking about myself too, the times in my life, and right, just because I'm a coach doesn't mean I have things all figured out. It's that I'm committed to being self-accountable with the journey, because if I'm teaching it, I want to embody it. And so things that can create a feeling of not being in control: money, time, and resources. Whenever we feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know if there's enough money, I don't know if there's enough time for me to do this, I don't know if there's enough, that we are going to call the scarcity mindset. Maybe some of you have heard this before. There's scarcity mindset and the abundance mindset. But this is such a important thing to note out, that it's kind of the flip of the coin. We can believe that there is enough, or we can believe that there's not enough. Sometimes we have proof, sometimes we don't. But it's checking in with ourselves when we start to get a train of thought that is within that scarcity mindset. Because a lot of the times we have no proof either way, or we have an equal amount of proof that things are going to work out versus things not working out. But the thing that almost becomes below that of seeing things and it doesn't not feeling like it's enough is a reflection of an internal conversation that's happening around not feeling enough personally. And it's like the biggest fallacy of feeling that, because what is that rooted in? It's rooted in comparison. It's rooted in, well, that person seems to be figuring it out. Why am I not? Or 2 months ago, I was feeling so energized. Why I'm not feeling it now? That's the one that I really found myself in 2020 being like, why do I feel like this? I didn't feel like this a couple months ago, and comparing myself to my past self. And so the things that when we're focusing on the future, we're focusing on the past, we're not going to feel in control. And so when we start looking at the abundance mindset of, I'm choosing to believe there's enough. There's enough money, there's enough time, there's enough resources. Even when I don't have proof, I'm going to work with what I have. Because there is power in being in that present moment of being able to acknowledge what exists right in front of me. Everything is figure outable. And so the things that are in our control, what is in our control? Our responses and our reactions. And so one of the things I was reflecting on about intentions versus goals is this tangible thing. There's normally a deadline. It's measurable, right? If you guys have ever heard of SMART goals, it's like specific, measurable, actionable. It's very like there's steps and we know if we've reached it or not reached it. But with creating intentions, this is about our way of being. And when I say way of being, it's about who you are being while you do those things. There's a lot of things I'm going to guess in your work environment that you are showing up for, that there's things in the moment, but there's only a certain level of planning that you could do. And it's going with what is happening, right? If there's patients, if there's situations. And so noticing that it's our way of being that's going to carry us through. And we're going to set intentions towards the end of this talk. And I'm going to give you guys different prompts of ways to create healthy intentions that empower you, right? Because if we feel in control, we feel powerful. But what are the things that can drain our power, drain our energy? I want to share some of the things that maybe not so much that drain my energy. We are all so addicted to our cell phones because it's such this source of information. It's a source of connection, right? A lot of the times we have to be on it for our work. And I'm saying this as someone who has created my entire business on Instagram. Okay. So I'm not like anti-phones or anything like that. I'm very much, I think there's so much fun that can come from it. But something that really drains us is when we are overstimulated. When our brain is at a high functioning state of stimulation, that is like peak performance, right? Where it is so wonderful when we have that in our job, you know, like when we show up and you're feeling like you're on it and it's like you're feeling sharp. It's the best feeling in the world, right? And it feels so glaring whenever we don't feel that sense of sharpness, thinking of just like, oh, feeling lethargic. And that can happen. It's called adrenal fatigue. We can have like our sensory overload. And so something that has really helped me set intentions for my day without my mind being hijacked by the world around me is my mornings. We've all heard of morning routines. I can guarantee there's certain routines that you guys have. There's certain routines that you're like, on a good day, I got them, but you know, whatever that might be. I want to share with you something that has created an immense amount of personal empowerment in my life, is not using my phone in the mornings, minimum 30 minutes. And so the reason for this is the morning times, our subconscious is the most impressionable. And so if we wake up in the morning and we grab our phone right away, it's a habit. If you've been doing it, it's not even a thing that you think about. It's not like, I'm going to grab my phone. It's just boom. Because it's almost like gambling where it's like, oh, anything good? What do we got? Like, is this anyone, social media, any good emails, like any good text messages? Like it's this like hit of dopamine of like, oh, what do we got? And so we will constantly grab for it. But we need to create a safe zone for your mind, a safe zone with your space, a safe zone where you feel like you can relax. And relaxing honestly requires a level of trust that we have to have, that abundance mindset of believing that I am enough, there is enough. And for me personally, what I like to tell myself, if I'm worried about not having something that I think I'm supposed to have in the moment, is if I don't have it, I don't need it. Everything is figure outable. Trusting in the process to figure it out. But creating that safe zone for your mind, because when we open our phone right when we wake up, we are bombarded by the messages, and we are then we're letting our phone decide the tone for our day versus having the opportunity to set those intentions ourselves. And so the way that I say it is like, it doesn't even matter what you do, as long as you are not interacting with the screen of your phone, of the TV that is stimulating this. Oh, I got to figure it out. Oh, that's right. There's a lot of problems in the world. Oh, that's right. This is going on. And so a big part of that is acknowledging yourself. So I'm just going to kind of go through the things with the phone before I get into that. Don't charge your phone next to your bed. I'm just going to be like super direct to the things that have really supported me in sharing this. Don't charge your phone by your bed if you do. If you do, it's too easy to maintain that habit of going to sleep looking at it and waking up looking at it, okay? Charge it somewhere else. The other thing too is if you've been focused and you're doing something and then all of a sudden you're getting notifications, there's a study that shows that having notifications, even just on your desktop for your email, can derail your productivity 20 minutes. So one email pops up and it sends us down that rabbit hole, right? Of like, oh, I need to respond to that or whatever it might be, 20 minutes at minimum before we're returning back to the task at hand. And so the same thing happens with our phone. And so on my cell phone, I have all notifications turned off. except text messages, right? Messages from all social media, from mail. I create designated times to sit down and look at them. So it's not running me and running my day and running my train of thought. The only notifications I have turned on my phone is text messages. I have a reminder set 5 times a day that says, you can write it however you want, like how you talk to yourself, but it says, breathe, mama, breathe, right? Because I imagine that there's different parts of myself that is up to me to take care of. So it's like, hey, breathe, mama. And it always comes up at the right time. I'll be doing something and it'll pop up, breathe, drop my shoulders. Because we don't realize how much tension we are carrying in our body until we are given that instruction to breathe. I have an app called the I Am app. This is actually something I recently got that I really highly recommend. I want to shout it from the rooftops. It is something, I think it's $20 for the year. So it comes out to like $2 or $3 a month or something like that. But I highly recommend it because 5 times a day, it sends me a notification of an I am statement or a positive affirmation. And you can actually go through and choose if you want to focus on more on anxiety, more on depression, more on lifestyle, more on romance, more on trusting in finances. Like there's so many different areas to be able to get these notifications that are supporting you and serving your mental health and your positive intention setting, rather than derailing you and sending you down a rabbit hole of worry or fear. Okay. So that's one of the biggest things, protecting our space and our mental well-being by being aware of what we are consuming. We are so much more impressionable than we realize, and our mind is constantly taking things in and it's deciding how we feel about it. We aren't even realizing this. And so bringing it back to that core belief, if we can bring it back to the core belief of I am enough, there's enough. I believe in that. It is a choice, right? So a part of that is noticing when our mind starts to, have you guys ever heard, you're not your thoughts? I think in like the well-being that goes around a lot. And so when I first heard that, I was like, I didn't get it. It didn't like resonate with me of like, what do you mean you're not your thoughts? But the more and more we start to I call it taking a back seat in the mind. Anyone practice meditation, or has anyone tried meditation? Put a little hand up. Tried meditation? Okay, cool. So like a big thing with meditation is being the observer of our mind. Meditation is not just silencing the mind. It's allowing the mind to be free in the moment, but then bringing it back. I like to do meditation on a focal point. So focal point being breath, focal point being a sentence, the focal point being humming, right? And the whole practice of mindfulness is noticing when the mind has wandered and gently bringing it back. Noticing when the mind has wandered and gently bringing it back. Like that is the practice of meditation. And I grew up in a very, like, not a place that is open to meditation or talking about manifestation, things like that. It was something that I sought after because I was like, I don't get it. I'm not that type of person that does meditation. But meditation has created such this beautiful reflection for everything else in life. So I have a phrase of find the train of thought, slow it down, and turn it around. When you find yourself fixated on a worry, fixated on a thought that is like rooted in scarcity of like, I don't know if there's going to be enough. I don't know if this person's going to make it. I don't know if so-and-so is going to figure it out. Like it might be rooted in a place of really caring because you really want the people around you to do well or things to go well. But is it draining you? And so when you notice those thoughts, or maybe self-deprecating thoughts of like, oh, I can't believe I just said that. I'm so stupid. This is the moment where we get to remember we're not our thoughts of like, whoa, where did that come from? And then we notice it. Slowing the train down is, okay, that's not actually true. I don't actually believe that. And then turning the train around is, I'm doing well. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm enough. It's enough. And the more and more we can start to notice and take a back seat and notice the thoughts that come up. And this is like micro moments, right? This is not, I need to stop and slow the train down. This is like micro moments in between conversations, in between those other stimulating high stress situations of taking care. And a lot of the times the self-deprecating thoughts can come when we start to slow down, right? When we're off work, when we're by ourselves. And so noticing the train, slowing it down, turning it around. The train of thought can build momentum. And sometimes if a train has been going real, real fast, you can't just flip it around. You got to slow it down. So how do we slow down the train of thought? I like to, it's called going general. If you're like, no, but it's not working out because this, and this, right? You have all the specifics and all the reasons. But if we can almost take a step back of, it's worked out in the past, it could work out now. It's like, what thoughts are we entertaining? It might, if we're feeling stressed out, anxious, overwhelmed, we can't just flip over to joy. It's too much of a jump. It's too big of a jump. That's the process of slowing the train down. And when we have the core belief of I am enough, it's okay, we're giving ourselves permission to acknowledge how we're feeling versus I shouldn't be feeling this way. This is a good one. And don't should on yourself. Put that in the comment box. I won't should on myself, okay? Because when we have these things of I should be doing this, or when we're judging our neighbor, which we all do, he should be doing that. She should be doing that. It is taking us out of the reality of what is. There's a quote by Eckhart Tolle. He says, we choose suffering when we are in denial with what is. And normally it's the should. It's the supposed to, it's the, it wasn't supposed to happen like this. And it starts to rob us of our joy. It starts to steal that joy away from us because we are in denial with what is. And that can be kind of a hard concept of like, yeah, but it shouldn't have happened. It's not saying that it was right or wrong or anything like that. It's being able to acknowledge that it did and being able to acknowledge that, how do I want to show up within this? What does my best look like today? Because showing up as our best, it looks different every single day. We're very cyclical. We have cycles. We have different things of like moods that are affecting us. So what does it look like to actually set intentions? I want to give you an example of like, how many of you guys got yoga pants? I know there's a lot of guys in here, but hey, I mean, if you got yoga pants too, that's cool. But like yoga pants, right? Okay. Yeah, cool. They're the most comfortable things ever, right? I can have yoga pants. I could say namaste. I might even have a yoga mat in the house somewhere, but I don't practice yoga that often. But I got the attitude of yoga, right? I got the look. This is the same exact thing that goes for gratitude. We can have an attitude of gratitude. We'd be like, yeah, I'm grateful. But are we practicing it? And if this feels super basic, well, there's a power in the simplicity and the basics. There's power in the fundamentals. Oh, okay. Maybe you got a gratitude journal over there. Yes, Nicholas, that's awesome. And so that is one thing with setting intentions, is creating the baseline for how we want to feel for the things that were showing up in our life. And if you ever feel like it's difficult to list things that you're grateful for, because when we are by ourselves, how we are leading ourselves, right? No one else knows, we're by ourselves. It's the quietness of our own mind, you know, it's like how we negotiate with ourselves, how we like, that's something that I noticed through different addictions, right? I've had of things where I've noticed like, oh my God, I'm a master negotiator with myself of like just one, or I'll just, whatever it might be. And so learning how to befriend our mind comes down to spending time with ourselves in our mind. And this doesn't have to be this elaborate thing. I'm talking 5 minutes, you guys, 5 minutes of not looking at your phone, opening up a journal and being like 3 things that I'm grateful for. What are 3 things that I'm grateful for and why? And if you ever have difficulty with like, because I know that there were times over this past year that I was like, nothing. I'm grateful for nothing. Like, let me be angry, you know? And there's space for that, to have healthy anger, right? For me, music and singing and dancing allows me to express healthy anger. But what is like this instant like hook or jab or turnaround, or whatever you want to call it, is what would I be terrified to lose? What in my life do I never want to lose? What in my life do I want to like hold on and keep forever? And ding, 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 ding. All the things that you're grateful for will start flooding into your mind. And that is a way that you can set yourself up to then take a moment to put pen to paper and write what you are grateful for. There's so much power in putting pen to paper, because then it's not just something that's up here, it's tangible and you can hold it. Okay. This also goes for things that if we have so much on our list of things that we need to do and we're feeling overwhelmed, the moment you put it on paper, you don't have to hold it all up here. You can hold it right here. You can allow yourself to trust in the moments easier when you know that you've created a plan for yourself. So setting intentions, 3 things that you're grateful for. I can guarantee you, if you do this for 7 days straight, you will feel a massive shift in how you feel. Like you will feel a massive, almost like this, like you're able to breathe, like you're able to bring more joy into the things in your situations in life, right? We can't change things. Some things are what they are, but we are in control of our reactions and our responses and how we show up. That's on us. And so I want you to put in the comment box, how do you want to feel this year? Just put a couple words down, right? Do you want to feel brave? Do you want to feel joyful? Do you want to feel happy? Do you want to feel healthy? What are some words to describe the ways you want to feel, the type of things you want to be, right? Who do you want to be? You want to be confident. You want to be powerful, free of anxiety, joyful, proud, accomplished. Okay, this is so cool. This is such a great example. Kelly, thank you so much. So this is a way where we can be able to, so free of anxiety. What is another way to say that doesn't put the word anxiety in it, that still means the same thing? Calm, there we go. Calm. Our words really matter because, for instance, if I were to tell you guys, okay, y'all, don't think of the Eiffel Tower. Don't do it. Like it's impossible not to think of the Eiffel Tower to then say, I'm not going to think of the Eiffel Tower, right? Don't think of the Statue of Liberty. You're like, well, no, I'm thinking about it. It's the same thing that happens with our mind. If we say like, I just don't want blank, but then our mind is then thinking about it. And so this is a little thing that you can see the train, slow it down, turn it around. And this is a situation that it's the exact same thing, right? Free of anxiety, calm, equal. They equate, they're the same. But how those words affect our body and our mind matter, and they are different. It's different. If we're saying, I want to be free of anxiety, I want to be, and so I'm just using that example because that's so often it's like, I'm thinking one of my biggest fears. I don't want to be alone forever, right? I'm like, I'm so excited to meet my partner and like be in a relationship one day. So I can say that I don't want to be alone as an intention. But what is also true and a different way of saying that? I want to be in a happy partnership, right? I don't want to be stressed out, okay? I want to feel in control of my year, right? Ding, ding, ding. Healthy intentions, feeling in control of your year. Confident, existential, curious, healthy and happy, feeling relaxed, accomplished. Yes. Free of pressure and an increase in calmness. Yeah, that's a big one, A lot of the times we can create self-induced pressure because of that desire of wanting to do enough. And so action items for you. Create those phone boundaries for yourself. Do what you need to do to make sure that your space at home energizes you versus drains you. Letting that morning be a time for you. I have 2 prompts for you, okay? So that's the action, creating those phone boundaries. Now the habits is noticing your train of thought, slowing it down, turning it around, and getting yourself a journal. I don't care if you're like, it's just not me. I got things to do. I'm busy. I'm like, yes, great. And this is going to support you in your mental clarity. It's going to support you in your well-being. And some of those questions, what am I grateful for and why? But this one's really big. And this one's great for mornings is, what am I proud of myself for? Acknowledgement is necessary. And I mean, if we've ever been in a job environment where we don't feel acknowledged, it's the worst feeling ever. It's like most of the time people leave jobs not because of the job, it's because of the leaders. It's because they don't feel seen, heard, and loved or acknowledged. And so the way I see it is we can't wait for our environment to do that for us. It's our job to do it for ourselves. And then the way that we show up to the world around us when we feel that sense of love, acknowledgement, and pride, it's different. The way we see our environment is different because we're filling our own cup up. And so that is a question that I recommend. Those 2 questions. What am I grateful for and why? 3 times. What am I proud of? 3 things. So it's basically, you could just do 6 lines in your journal. Think about how long that would take, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, but slowing down enough to put pen to paper and set those intentions. See, it's kind of funny because the things you're grateful for and the things you're proud of is almost like something from reflecting, right? And then you get to ask yourself, who do I want to be today? And it's kind of a weird question because we're so used to, what do I want to do? But we don't always ask ourselves, who do we want to be? And so the way that I set it up is I put a line down the middle of the paper and I write my to-do list. And then I write my to-be list, right? If I'm like, okay, I need to, if it's like a family event or something with my family, what do I need to show up to that feeling my best, right? Most of the time it's patience and understanding. You know, if there's situations where you're, you know, who do you need to be? And so giving that way of being, that's the intention piece. Who you be while you do those things matters so much more than what you're actually doing. So those are some things that, those particular questions. If you guys have a pen and a paper in front of you, I want you to grab a pen. If you don't, grab one. We're going to do 30 seconds. And I want you to allow your mind to just write whatever comes about. There's no right, there's no wrong, and you don't have to share. Okay. So let's just put it all right there that it's a free moment to be with yourself. And the only prompt I'm going to give you is I am. And I want you to just write whatever comes to mind, acknowledging yourself, allowing yourself to be kind to yourself. I am. Okay. Go. Showing yourself love, giving yourself permission. All right. And even as I look at my own towards the end, it's just, I am, I am, I am. Those are said to be 2 of the most powerful words in the English language. And so I have a prompt for you. If you guys want to send me a message on Instagram, just write intentions. I will send you a PDF that is something you can save to your phone. I'll put in here in the chat my Instagram. And I also wanted to offer you guys that you could be able to schedule a free call with me. I'm going to also put it in the chat box. If you want to dive deeper in the conversations around setting intentions and creating that mental, emotional fortitude for yourself so you can show up to those things in your life the way that you really want to. I would love to connect with you. I'm offering this to this group. Let me get that little link and I will send that to you guys to be able to schedule a free call. So this is something that I recommend this isn't like, yeah, schedule one 6 months from now. Like this is an opportunity and an invitation for you to schedule now, or, you know, you can select a time to take action on and let someone else be on your team and support you the way that you support yourself. And so I'm so glad that I got to be here with you guys today. I hope that you got something out of our call today. And if anything, I hope that you create those boundaries with your cell phone and with the things that you're consuming, because it really does matter and it really does affect how our well-being is. And so thank you guys so much for letting me join your group today.